Admiral Rachel Wilson stood at the bridge of the EN's Prometheus, her blue eyes fixed on the massive display screen. The stars looked different from up here, colder and more distant than they ever had from Earth. Her ship, humanity's first true deep space battleship, hung in orbit around their home planet like a watchful guardian. "Admiral, we're picking up multiple signals," said Lisa Chen from her communication station. Her fingers flew across the holographic controls. "They're not ours. The patterns are like nothing in our database." Rachel straightened her uniform. After 15 years in the Earth Navy Space Force, she had expected this day would come. First contact, but not like this. Not with over 50 unknown ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel right at Earth's doorstep. "Put them on screen," she ordered. Her voice remained steady, though her heart raced. The display flickered, and a face appeared that made several bridge crew members gasp. The alien was reptilian, with dark scales and 4 glowing yellow eyes. When it spoke, its translator converted the sounds into English. "I am Supreme Warmaster Vexthor of the Drachnid Empire. Your world sits in our expansion zone. Submit to our rule or face extinction." Rachel's hands gripped the command rail tighter. "This is Admiral Rachel Wilson of Earth. We are a sovereign world. We do not submit to threats." The alien's laugh sounded like grinding metal. Brave words from a species that has barely left its cradle. "Perhaps you need a demonstration." One of the Drachnid ships fired a beam of energy at a small research station. The station exploded in a ball of fire. "Admiral," David Cooper, her chief engineer, called from his station. "Their weapons are beyond anything we've seen. But," he lowered his voice, "should we show them?" Rachel nodded slightly. The Prometheus had secrets. Big ones. Before she could respond to the Drachnid threat, another ship appeared. This one was smaller, clearly damaged. Its hull showed blast marks. "Earth vessels," a desperate voice called. "Do not trust the Drachnids. They have destroyed 12 worlds this cycle. We are the last survivors of the Centauri Alliance. Please, you must." The transmission cut off as a Drachnid blast struck the refugee ship, but it didn't explode. Instead, the Prometheus's automated defense system activated, extending its shield around the damaged vessel. "Interesting technology," Warmaster Vexthor said, "but primitive. You have 1 hour to surrender. Then we will begin orbital bombardment. Your cities will burn." The screen went dark. Rachel turned to her crew. "Sound General Quarters, and get me Earth Command." 5 minutes later, she faced the Earth Defense Council on her screen. "They're not bluffing," she told them. "The Drachnids have the firepower to do exactly what they threaten." "Then perhaps we should consider their terms," one counselor suggested. "No," Rachel said firmly, "because we have something they don't know about. Something that's never been seen before in the galaxy." She nodded to David Cooper. The chief engineer stepped forward. "The Prometheus isn't just one ship," he explained. "We've perfected spatial folding technology. What looks like one battleship is actually a fleet, folded into a single point in space. We can unfold at any time, giving us tactical surprise and overwhelming force." The council chamber went quiet. "How many ships?" the head counselor asked. 5,000, Rachel answered. "Each one armed with our most advanced weapons. We built them in secret over 10 years, hiding them in folded space. The Prometheus is just the visible tip of humanity's spear." The council took only 2 minutes to vote. "Engage at your discretion, Admiral Wilson. Show them why Earth cannot be conquered." Rachel turned back to her crew. The refugee ship had been brought into their hangar bay, and its survivors were being treated. "Begin Operation Hydra preparations," she ordered, "and get me everything the refugees can tell us about Drachnid weak points. If they want to see humanity's response to threats." She smiled grimly. "Let's show them what happens when you corner the descendants of Earth's greatest warriors." The bridge crew snapped to action. They had trained for this, even if they never expected to face an alien empire on their first deep space mission. Rachel looked at the timer counting down to the Drachnid's deadline. 45 minutes remained, more than enough time to prepare humanity's surprise. Spatial folding drives charging, David reported. All hidden ships responding. Ready on your order. Rachel nodded. First contact had come with a price. But the Drachnids were about to learn that threatening Earth came with a much higher one. David Cooper moved quickly through the Prometheus's engine room, checking the spatial folding drives. Around him, engineers prepared for what would be humanity's first major space battle. The massive chamber hummed with energy, its walls lined with the technology that had changed everything. Status report. Admiral Wilson's voice came through the speakers. The refugees are giving us good intel, David replied, his hands moving across control panels. Their leader, Ambassador Cathor, says the Drachnids have never seen anything like our folding technology. They rely on brute force, not innovation. He paused at the main control station. On the screens before him, thousands of green dots showed the status of Earth's hidden fleet. Each dot represented a battleship, compressed into the space of a single atom, waiting to be unfolded. Show me, Rachel ordered. David pressed his hand against the scanner, and the engine room's main hologram sprang to life. It showed the true nature of the Prometheus. Not one ship, but layers upon layers of vessels, all existing in the same space through the miracle of spatial folding. It's like origami, he explained to the bridge. But with space itself, we fold reality until thousands of ships take up the space of one. When we unfold, it happens in an instant. The enemy won't have time to react. The refugees from the damaged ship watched in amazement. Ambassador Cathor, a tall being with silvery skin, stepped forward. In all our travels, we've never seen such technology. The Drachnids destroyed our worlds because we could not fight back. But this, the ambassador's large eyes widened. This changes everything. 30 minutes to their deadline. Lieutenant John Martinez reported from his tactical station. The Drachnid fleet is moving into attack formation. Rachel's voice was calm. David, tell me about our weapons. David brought up another display. Each hidden ship carries our latest quantum torpedoes. They bypass shields by shifting partially into another dimension. We also have energy weapons that can match or exceed Drachnid power levels. And the best part, he continued, is that they don't know about any of it. The Prometheus looks like a simple defensive vessel. They can't detect our folded ships because they exist outside normal spacetime. Ambassador Thor shared tactical data about the Drachnid fleet. Their ships were strongest at the front, with weaker shielding on the sides and rear. They never expected attacks from multiple directions because no one had ever been able to surround their formations. We can change that, David said. When we unfold, we can position ships anywhere within a light-second radius. We'll be behind them, beside them, above, below, everywhere at once. The ship's AI calculated battle scenarios, projecting them in the air above David's station. In every simulation, the sudden appearance of thousands of Earth ships overwhelmed the Drachnid forces. 20 minutes, Martinez updated. Rachel made her decision. Begin Operation Hyper preparations. David, start warming up the folded ship's engines. Ambassador Cathor, we'll need your people to help coordinate the attack patterns. The engine room burst into action. Engineers moved between stations, checking connections and power levels. The folding drives began to pulse with bright blue light as they prepared to release their hidden cargo. David felt pride as he watched his life's work prepare for its first real test. He remembered the day, 10 years ago, when he first discovered how to fold space. Everyone had said it was impossible. But now, humanity's survival might depend on it. 10 minutes, Martinez called. All folded ships report ready, David announced. Power levels optimal. Spatial matrices stable. He looked at the final readings. We can do this, Admiral. We can show them that humanity isn't as helpless as they think. Ambassador. Thor placed a hand on David's shoulder. My people will sing songs about this day. The day Earth stood up to the Drachnids. Through the engine room viewport, David could see the Drachnid fleet. Their ships were massive, dark shapes against the stars, built to inspire fear. But they didn't know what was coming. They couldn't see the thousands of Earth vessels hidden in the folds of space, waiting to be unleashed. 5 minutes, Martine said. David took a deep breath and placed his hands on the main controls. Humanity's greatest technological achievement was about to become its most powerful weapon. The Drachnids thought they were facing one ship. They were about to face an army. All stations report ready, he told Rachel. On your command, we'll show them what humanity can really do. The Drachnid fleet filled the view screen, 10,000 warships stretching across space like a wall of death. Supreme War Master Vex Thor's face appeared again on the main display of the Prometheus. Your time is up, he said, his yellow eyes glowing with cruel pleasure. Will Earth submit? Admiral Rachel Wilson stood tall, her uniform crisp and perfect. We have a different answer for you. She nodded to David Cooper at the engineering station. Now, Operation Hydra beginning, David announced. His fingers flew across the controls. Spatial unfolding in 3, 2, 1. Space itself seemed to ripple around the Prometheus. For a moment, everything twisted, as if reality was being pulled apart. Then it happened. Where there had been one Earth ship, there were now thousands. The Prometheus's hidden fleet burst into existence all around the Drachnid armada. 5,000 battleships, appearing in perfect formation, surrounding the enemy on all sides. What is this trickery? Vex Thor's voice lost its smugness. This is humanity's response to threats, Rachel said calmly. Fire. The space around Earth lit up like a new sun. Quantum torpedoes launched from 1,000 ships at once, passing through Drachnid shields as if they weren't there. Earth's energy weapons fired next, their beams coordinated by the Prometheus's battle computer. Impossible. Vex Thor roared as his ships began exploding. No species has this kind of technology. Lieutenant John Martinez reported from Tactical, enemy fleet taking heavy damage. Their formation is breaking apart. They didn't expect attacks from all directions at once. The Drachnids tried to fight back, but they couldn't handle attacks coming from every angle. Their ships were built for head-on battles, not for being surrounded. When they turned to face one threat, they exposed their weak spots to others. Admiral, Lisa Chen called from communications. Other Drachnid ships are appearing from hyperspace. They're calling for reinforcements. Rachel smiled. Good. David, begin Phase 2. David activated more folded ships, these ones appearing even farther out in space. The new Earth vessels cut off the Drachnid escape routes and blocked their reinforcements. Ambassador, Thor watched in amazement from his position on the bridge. By the stars, you're not just beating them. You're changing the way space warfare works forever. The battle continued for another hour, but the outcome was never in doubt. Drachnid ships fell one after another to Earth's advanced weapons and impossible tactics. They couldn't fight what they couldn't understand, and they had never seen anything like spatial folding technology. Enemy fleet at 20% strength, Martins reported. They're beginning to retreat. On the screen, Supreme War Master Vex Thor's face showed real fear now. This is not possible. We are the Drachnid Empire. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. And now you've met Earth, Rachel replied. Take this message back to your empire. We are not alone out here anymore. The species you've terrorized have a protector now. If you attack any peaceful world again, you'll face Earth's full power. The remaining Drachnid ships flowed into hyperspace, leaving behind the wreckage of their once mighty fleet. As they disappeared, cheers erupted on the Prometheus's bridge. Damage report, Rachel called out, staying focused. Minimal damage to our fleet, David reported. The spatial folding systems worked perfectly. We can redeploy at any time. Ambassador Thor stepped forward. Admiral Wilson, My people owe you a debt we can never repay. But this victory is not just for Earth. It's for every species the Drachnids have hurt. Rachel looked at the display showing Earth's fleet, now visible for all to see. This was just the beginning. We'll need to work together, humans and refugees, to bring peace to this part of space. The Drachnids will return, Martines warned. Let them come, Rachel said. Earth's fleet will be ready. And next time, we'll have even more surprises waiting in folded space. As the adrenaline of battle faded, the crew of the Prometheus began to realize what they had achieved. Humanity's first space battle had ended in a victory that would change galactic history. The stars themselves seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the hope that Earth had just given to countless worlds. David looked at his spatial folding controls with pride. You know what this means, don't you? He asked Rachel. We can protect everyone now, not just Earth. Rachel nodded. That's exactly what we're going to do. The galaxy needs to know that there's a new power in space, and we fight for the good guys. Lieutenant John Martinez stood before the holographic display in the Prometheus's conference room. Representatives from 12 different alien species sat around the table, each one a survivor of Drachnid attacks. Their eyes were fixed on the images he showed them. Earth's spatial folding technology can change everything, he explained, pointing to a map of known space. We can help protect your worlds. We can strike at the Drachnids before they hurt anyone else. Ambassador Cathor rose from his seat. His silver skin gleamed under the room's lights. My people were nearly wiped out by the Drachnids. But now, with Earth's help, we can take back our home world. And not just yours, Rachel added, entering the room. The alien representatives stood respectfully. In the weeks since the battle at Earth, stories about the Prometheus had spread across the galaxy. Every species here has lost something to the Drachnids. Together, we can get it all back. David Cooper joined them, carrying new data chips. We've been working with Cathor's scientists, he said. Their crystal technology can make our folding drives even better. We can hide bigger fleets now, move them further. The alien representatives began sharing their own technologies. One species had developed advanced stealth systems. Another had powerful healing technology. A third knew how to make ships that could survive inside stars. This is what the Drachnids don't understand, Rachel told them. They think strength comes from conquest, but real power comes from working together. Lisa Chen's voice came over the intercom. Admiral, we're picking up distress calls. 3 Drachnid attack fleets are hitting different systems at once. They're desperate to prove they're still strong. The alien representatives looked worried, but Rachel smiled. Show them what Earth's fleet can do now. On the main screen, they watched as Earth ships appeared out of folded space near each attack. The Drachnid forces, expecting easy victories against helpless worlds, instead found themselves facing hundreds of battleships equipped with combined human and alien technology. Amazing, one of the alien leaders whispered. Your ships can be anywhere, anytime. And now yours can too, David said. He handed out the data chips. These contain the basics of spatial folding technology. We'll help you build it into your own ships. Ambassador Thor touched the chip with trembling fingers. You would share such powerful technology. John stepped forward. That's what allies do. And that's what Earth wants. Allies, not subjects like the Drachnids. The conference room erupted in excited discussion as the representatives realized what this meant. Their peoples wouldn't have to live in fear anymore. They could fight back. There's more, Rachel announced. The room quieted. We're proposing a formal alliance, the foundation for galactic defense. Each member world will contribute what they can. Together, we'll be stronger than the Drachnid Empire ever was. On the screens, the 3 Drachnid attack fleets were retreating, leaving behind their damaged ships. Earth's forces had won without losing a single vessel. The Drachnids thought they could break us by attacking multiple targets, John explained. But spatial folding lets us respond everywhere at once. And now you'll be able to do the same. One by one, the representatives stood, Each one pledged their world to the Alliance. They shared information about Drachnid movements, military bases, and weak points. "This is just the beginning," Rachel told them. "With our combined knowledge, we can make the folding drives better. We can develop new weapons, better defenses. The Drachnids won't know what hit them." David brought up a new display showing ships under construction in Earth's orbital yards. "We're already building more vessels. But now they'll have the best of everyone's technology. Human folding drives, Kithor crystals, Centaurian stealth systems." The meeting lasted hours as plans were made and strategies discussed. When it ended, the representatives left with hope in their eyes and folding drive plans in their hands. John watched them go. "You know the Drachnids won't give up easily," he said to Rachel. "Good," she replied, "because neither will we. And now we're not fighting alone." Above them, the stars seemed to hold new promise. The galaxy was changing. The age of Drachnid terror was ending. In its place, something new was forming. An alliance of free worlds, protected by ships that could appear from nowhere, led by a planet that had refused to bow to tyranny. Earth's fleet filled the stars with hope, and the Drachnids were right to be afraid. Lisa Chen sat at her communication station, her fingers flying over the controls. The intercepted Drachnid messages flowed across her screen in waves of alien symbols. After 3 weeks of non-stop work, she had finally cracked their code. "Admiral Wilson," she called out. "You need to see this." Rachel hurried to Lisa's station, looking at the decoded battle plans. The Drachnids were planning something big. Attacks on 12 star systems at once. But this time, Earth was ready. "They still think quantity beats quality," Rachel said, studying the plans. "Get me the Alliance Council." Minutes later, the holographic images of alien leaders filled the bridge. Ambassador Thor spoke first, his silver skin reflecting the emergency lights. "What have you discovered, Earth friends?" "The Drachnids are getting desperate," Rachel explained. "They're gathering their remaining fleets for a massive attack. But thanks to Officer Chen, we know exactly where they'll be." David Cooper joined them, bringing up a map of the targeted systems. "We've equipped all Alliance worlds with folding drives now. This is our chance to end the Drachnid threat once and for all." The plan was simple but bold. Earth's fleet, now joined by ships from 20 allied species, would use the folding technology to appear simultaneously in all 12 systems. The Drachnids would find their ambush turned against them. "All ships, prepare for Operation Thunderbolt," Rachel ordered. The crew of the Prometheus moved with practiced speed. In the engine room, the folding drives hummed to life. "First wave ready," John Martinez reported from Tactical. "Allied ships standing by." Rachel looked at the strategic display. Thousands of dots showed the positions of Earth and Alliance vessels, all hidden in folded space, waiting to strike. "Begin countdown," she commanded. "All ships will unfold on my mark." The bridge grew quiet. This would be the largest coordinated spatial folding operation ever attempted. Success would mean freedom for dozens of worlds. Failure wasn't an option. "Drachnid fleets entering target systems," Lisa announced, monitoring their movements. Rachel waited until the enemy ships were fully committed to their attacks. Now, space rippled across 12 star systems at once. Where there had been empty space, thousands of Earth and Alliance ships appeared. The Drachnids found themselves surrounded in every system. "Fire," Rachel ordered. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Earth ships, enhanced with alien technology, struck from impossible angles. Alliance vessels, now equipped with folding drives, appeared and disappeared at will, confusing the enemy. "Drachnid fleet in the Centauri system is retreating," Lisa reported. Similar messages followed from other systems. "Don't let them escape," Rachel ordered. "Use the folding drives to cut off their retreat paths." David's voice came from engineering. "The combined technologies are working perfectly. Thor's crystals make the folding drives twice as powerful." The Drachnids tried to fight back, but they couldn't handle attacks coming from everywhere at once. Their rigid battle formations fell apart under the assault of ships that could vanish and reappear at will. Enemy fleets breaking up in all systems, John reported. They're running. Ambassador Cathor's voice shook with emotion. My home system is free. After 10 years of occupation, we are free. Similar celebrations erupted across the Alliance channels as system after system was liberated. The Drachnid's greatest offensive had become their worst defeat. Rachel watched the tactical display as enemy ships fled in every direction. Track them, she ordered Lisa. I want to know where they run to. Already on it, Lisa replied. Most are heading back to Drachnid space. Their encrypted channels are full of panic. They never expected us to be able to defend all 12 systems at once. The bridge crew of the Prometheus began to relax as the last enemy ships disappeared. The operation had been a complete success. Not a single Alliance world had fallen. Send word to all systems, Rachel commanded. The counter-strike worked. But this isn't over. Now we take the fight to them. David brought up new tactical displays. The folding drives are ready. We can strike anywhere in their empire. Good, Rachel said, because it's time to end this war. The Drachnids thought they could break us by attacking everywhere at once. Instead, they showed us all their weaknesses. Above the liberated worlds, Earth's ships hung in space like guardians. The stars no longer belonged to the Drachnids. A new power had risen, one that fought not to conquer, but to protect. The Age of Terror was ending. The Age of Hope had begun. Drachnar Prime filled the Prometheus's view screen, a massive planet surrounded by the remains of the Drachnid Empire's once mighty fleet. Dark clouds swirled across its surface, hiding the last stronghold of humanity's greatest enemy. They've gathered everything they have left, John Martinez reported from Tactical. 20,000 ships, planetary shields, and ground-based weapons. They're ready for a long siege. Rachel Wilson stood at the center of her bridge, watching the Alliance fleet gather. Thanks to the folding drives, ships from 50 different species had arrived within hours of the call to battle. David, are you ready down there? She asked over the comm. In the engine room, David Cooper made final adjustments to their newest weapon. The space folder bombs are ready, he said. Once we plant them around their fleet, we can fold space itself around their ships. They'll be trapped in their own pocket universe. Ambassador Thor joined Rachel on the bridge. My people have waited generations to see this day. The Drachnids will finally answer for their crimes. The comm screen lit up with Supreme War Master Vex Thor's face. His scales were darker now, his yellow eyes burning with hatred. You dare to attack our home world. We will burn every ship you send against us. Look around you, War Master, Rachel replied calmly. Your empire is gone. Your conquered worlds are free. Surrender now, and we'll show more mercy than you ever did. Drachnids do not surrender, Vex Thor snarled. We will fight to the last ship, the last warrior. Rachel nodded sadly. I thought you'd say that. David, begin the operation. Space rippled around the Drachnid fleet as Earth's hidden ships appeared. But this time, they weren't just warships. Special vessels carrying the new space folder bombs moved into position. Enemy fleet powering weapons, John warned. Let them fire, Rachel ordered. David, show them our latest surprise. The space folder bombs activated. Spheres of twisted space appeared around clusters of Drachnid ships. The enemy vessels tried to fire, but their weapons hit nothing. They were trapped in pockets of folded space, cut off from the real universe. First wave of enemy ships neutralized, David reported. Moving on to the second wave. The Drachnids fought back fiercely, but they couldn't stop what they couldn't understand. Group by group, their ships vanished into folded space, trapped but unharmed. Planetary shields still holding. Lisa Chen reported from communications. They've dedicated all their power to them. Rachel smiled. Time for Phase 2. David, are your teams ready? Yes, Admiral. Shield generator coordinates locked in. Rachel turned to Cathor. Would you like to give the order? It seems fitting. The alien ambassador stepped forward, his silver skin gleaming. Begin Operation Downfall. Small teams of ships, equipped with the most advanced folding drives ever built, disappeared. They reappeared inside the planetary shields, having folded through the gaps in the energy field. Strike teams reporting success, John announced. Shield generators are offline. Planetary defenses failing. On the screen, Vexthor's face showed real fear for the first time. What are you? We're humanity, Rachel answered. And we're not alone anymore. Look around you, War Master. 50 species fight together today. Not because we conquered them, but because we helped them. The planetary shields flickered and died. The Alliance fleet moved forward as one, surrounding the Drachnid homeland. Your choice, War Master, Rachel said. Surrender and live, or keep fighting and lose everything. For a long moment, silence filled the bridge. Then, slowly, Vexthor lowered his head. The Drachnid Empire surrenders. Cheers erupted across the Alliance fleet. 50 species celebrated at once, their voices filling the communication channels with joy. David's voice came from engineering. Should we release the trapped ships, Admiral? Yes, Rachel decided, but keep the space folder bombs ready. They need to understand we can do it again if we have to. As the trapped Drachnid ships reappeared, Ambassador Thor turned to Rachel. What happens now? Now we help them change, she said, the same way we helped everyone else. The Drachnids can learn to build instead of destroy. The stars seemed brighter over Draknar Prime as the Alliance fleet maintained its watch. The last battle had been won not through destruction, but through innovation and mercy. Earth's greatest victory wasn't destroying an empire. It was building something better to replace it. 1 year after the surrender of Draknar Prime, Admiral Rachel Wilson stood in the observation deck of the Prometheus. The ship, now permanently stationed above Earth as a museum, had become a symbol of hope across the galaxy. Hard to believe it all started with one ship, David Cooper said, joining her at the window. Below them, ships from hundreds of worlds moved through space, using Earth's folding technology. Each one carried a piece of the dream they had built together. Not just one ship, Rachel corrected him. One alliance, one purpose. She watched as a Drachnid trade vessel peacefully passed by. Its crew had been among the first to embrace the new way of life. Lisa Chen's voice came over the comm. Admiral, the ceremony is ready to begin. In the main hall of the newly built Galactic Cooperation Center, representatives from over 200 species gathered. Former Supreme War Master Vexthor, now serving as the Drachnid Ambassador for Peace, stood among them. 1 year ago, Rachel began her speech. We faced a choice: fight for ourselves, or fight for everyone. Earth chose to share its technology, to help others stand up against tyranny. She gestured to the massive window showing Earth's space docks. New ships were under construction, each one built through cooperation between different species. Today, we don't use spatial folding technology for war, she continued. We use it to bring worlds together, to help those in need, to explore the unknown parts of our galaxy. Ambassador Thor stepped forward, his silver skin reflecting the Earth's light. Thanks to humanity's generosity, my people have rebuilt our world. The Drachnids who once destroy our cities now help us build new ones. Vexthor spoke next, his voice humble. We were wrong about strength. Real power isn't in conquering others, it's in lifting them up. Earth taught us that. David presented the latest statistics on a holographic display. Trade between worlds had increased 1,000 times. Medical ships could reach any emergency within minutes. Space travel that once took years now took hours. The Foundation for Galactic Cooperation has approved 300 new exploration missions, John Martinez announced. Ships from 50 different species working together to map the unknown regions. Rachel looked at her old crew, now leaders in the new Galactic Society. Lisa Chen headed the new Communications Council, teaching species to understand each other better. David Cooper led the technology sharing initiative, helping worlds develop their own folding drives. But our greatest achievement isn't in our ships or our technology, Rachel told the gathered species. It's in the trust we've built, the friendships we've made, the peace we've created together. A small ship appeared outside the window, unfolding from spatial compression. It carried medical supplies for a distant world. Another followed, carrying teachers for a newly discovered species. A third brought scientists from different worlds together for research. The stars once filled people with fear, Rachel said. Fear of the drachnids, fear of being alone, fear of the unknown. She paused, looking at the peaceful fleet above Earth. Now they fill us with hope. Ambassador, Thor raised his hand in the traditional Earth gesture of peace. To humanity, who taught us to fold space and unfold friendship. The gathered species cheered. Even the drachnids joined in, their former empire now just one part of a larger, peaceful community. Later, back on the Prometheus, Rachel stood with David in the engine room where it all began. The spatial folding drives were quiet now, preserved as a reminder of how far they had come. "Do you ever miss the excitement?" David asked. Rachel smiled, watching a group of alien children tour the ship's museum. "This is better. We're not just changing space anymore. We're changing lives." Outside, the stars shone brightly over Earth. Ships from across the galaxy moved peacefully through folded space, carrying hope, help, and friendship to every corner of the universe. The Prometheus had become more than a battleship. It had become a beacon, showing all species what was possible when they worked together. And in the end, that was humanity's greatest victory. Not that their battleships had filled the stars with force, but that they had filled the galaxy with something far more powerful.